Which comes back to the question, are the people who come into Fromville chosen?
Who knows whether or not we get an answer
Right.
to that or not.
Questions. More questions.
But to me, this feels like desperation.
Well, no. Well, maybe yes. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you how to feel.
They're in the cave. Their lives are at stake.
I know where this is going.
What do they pin their life on?
Duct tape. Obviously.
But not just duct tape.
And it's our...
The tiniest amount of duct tape humanly possible.
I don't know what's happening. It's like since she cut her hair and put on that wig, she's a different person.
Today, guest host Dawn and I are talking about the thrilling horror mystery show from Season 4, Episode 9, The Calm Before, so spoilers are ahead.
We'll discuss what we learned about the man in yellow,
The importance of rituals and bargains in Fromville,
the change in Julie, the bottle tree, and more.
Quick shout out to our channel members. Thank you so much for your support so we can continue making these videos.
So with that, let's get into the episode.
Okay, I think if there's anybody out there who has been frustrated that the show has not been giving answers, which isn't me, I've enjoyed the pace of the show. I do think that this one gave some answers.
Yeah, but it also added more questions.
Sure.
Like big questions.
Sure. Okay.
No, say your part. Say your part. I am still saying, like, yes, I got some answers, but they opened a whole new can of worms.
So do you feel that they asked the same number of questions that they answered? They asked more questions, or they asked fewer? Like, do you feel like we know more in proportion to the questions, or are they like, or less?
Gosh, I don't know. I feel like the Clara story was big, like,
yes.
and they just casually threw that in there.
Yes.
Like out of nowhere. It's not like we saw the original bargain that they're referring to in previous seasons.
Yes.
I don't believe. So they just casually threw a whole story in there without any kind of hints kind of along. Like, I mean, I've seen it in your comments, and I've seen some theories on other platforms that have hinted at Clara being questionable, but never a history like.
I don't think I've seen any on her being questionable. I think I've seen, maybe she's Eloise. So it was interesting because she has been there the whole time. She's always felt like she's super present without quite being a red shirt. She's like right on the cusp where they've given her like just enough detail, just enough screen time. Early on, she got affected when the big storm came, when they were putting up the tower, and she got like the glass in her. So she has always been there, and she is a little bit more fleshed out than the non-fleshed out characters, but still also at the same time kind of background enough that.
I mean, she was kind of background enough.
Yeah. But
now I feel like she really is getting her moment.
Yes.
And she's doing pretty big things.
Yes.
So all of that to say, I agree with you that they have given us some answers, but I feel like they asked a bunch more.
So here's what I kind of feel is there were two words that Sophia said to her that I think kind of got my wheels turning.
Okay.
And there were a few things that Sophia did this episode which give me a better understanding of what's going on and have helped me to kind of shape a theory about where things are going. The two words which I thought were a very interesting choice. The first one isn't super weird for her to use it, which is she used the word ritual, which is not surprising. We have, weird symbols. We have a lot of things seem like they have to be done certain ways. But the interesting thing there was the fact that she insinuated that it didn't necessarily matter what you did. It was also how you did it mattered. So when they were going to find the bones, it's like, sure, that's fine. But it's not just digging up the bones. It's how you dig up the bones.
Right. And she didn't insinuate that. She said that. She straight up said, yeah, here it's just as important how you do it.
And I think that relates to some other things. So I can see ritual coming back to a few of the other questions that we have about what goes on in Fromville.
Oh yeah. Also, I mean, the talisman, the sacrifice of the children, like the stones.
Yes.
Absolutely. It's Fromville is rich in ritual.
And I think there is power in that. I think some of that is like rituals don't have to be religious. You know, there's like the ritual that you have for going to sleep every day. That those series of actions can kind of like, even if you're not necessarily tired, can kickstart that in you. So they can have a physical effect on you. Things like even something as simple as like a handshake can be considered a ritual, and just doing that simple action instantly changes people's perception. You know, it's like, oh, this isn't just something we verbally said. Like we've really kind of agreed on it. So I think that this kind of shows that rituals can have power.
Okay.
And I'll come back to that in
Okay.
a little bit, because I do think that touches on some other things.
Okay.
The other word that I thought was very interesting that she used was, she said bargain. And that to me was a very odd choice.
Why is that?
Because she could have said, you know, the deal we struck, or the agreement we made. But to me, I think bargaining has a bunch of different insinuations. You know, it can be kind of like back and forth to come to an agreement.
Okay. It
can be when you get a bargain, you are paying less than something is worth. You know, so it's like, sorry if we're wrong about this. I don't know why I can't think of if her name is Clara or Clara. I'm bad with my memory. So Clara, she's potentially in the bargain. She thinks she's getting her life, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
And what she feels like she's giving up is small in return. You know, like she's winning on this deal. She has to do these little things, but she kind of wins on this bargain.
Interesting. I did not think of it that way.
Whereas I think Sophia thinks she won on the bargain.
Well, I mean, I think that's like house rules. She's always going to win.
I think Clara's life is pretty trivial to her. So it's like, and what will come from the chaos that will be sown is huge in comparison. It could cost multiple lives.
Right.
In the end.
Right. I didn't get that impression of the word. I guess when I heard it, I mean, now that you've explained it a little bit, it does, that is true, and I hadn't really thought of that, but it sounded like more of like a plea for her life, because it was like, what does she have to offer, really? You know, she didn't really have another card to play that she was maybe comfortable with. It was like she really wanted what Sophia, Man in Yellow, was selling.
Yes.
And she was willing to compromise her morals, maybe.
Yes.
To get that thing. So it was kind of like a plea for her life, like a bargain for her life.
Yeah.
And at what is the cost of a life?
Right.
You know, are you willing to sell out anyone else?
Yeah.
You know, and maybe Clara was kind of an aloof, you know, it didn't seem like she had a lot of tight friends. There are some good group scenes that she's not in.
Yeah.
And so maybe she thought it would be fine to sell them out because she's not really part of the group, you know? But now she seems to have made maybe some more connections, and now it's a little bit harder to sell them out.
Yeah.
Or maybe, you know, when the time comes, like, you know, it's one thing to be like, yeah, no, I can totally sell them out. And then the moment is there and it's like, oh, now I actually have to do it.
Yeah. I also kind of, when I think of a bargain, you know, I sometimes think about that when you're bargaining, you don't necessarily think of all the consequences, you know? So it's like, it reminds me of almost like a bargain with the devil or deal with the devil, you know, versus like, and I know that lawyers are great about hiding things in agreement. So those can be like contracts.
Right.
So that can also have kind of hidden clauses. People cannot realize it, but that's because the complexity of it, not because like the trickery. To me, this almost seems like the monkey paw type situation where it's like, be careful what you wish for, you know?
Right.
And like, is the cost really going to be worth it? Did you think about what is going to come of this?
Right.
And to a certain extent, I feel like a lot of people have been making these little bargains. They're weighing the costs of things. They have a voice whispering in their ear, and it's like, if you do this little thing, you can get out, you know? And so then they make that choice. And a lot of people have done that at this point and have, you know, kind of like struck little bargains and done things where they think, oh, this is harmless enough. Or even sometimes it's, you know, with like the Sarah situation, it's not even that it's harmless enough. It's that her sanity, her chance to go home outweighs, and she's accepted that cost.
Yes, I feel like the others haven't been so that they could go home. And I could be wrong. It's very possible.
I think
feel like
Elgin was like, when he wasn't going to give up.
Home.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yes,
like everyone else has been like, so we can all go home, so we can go home.
Yes.
And Clara is like, so I can go home.
Right.
Which kind of, again, feeds into my, like, she's really out for herself. You know, she's not really into the group mindset. She is fighting for her own life, which I get. You know, she came there with nobody. Maybe she doesn't bond with anybody. And so she's doing what she needs to do to survive. But speaking of that bargain that they made, how Sophia revealed herself to Clara.
Yeah.
With the eyes.
Yeah.
So she's obviously seen her before. Well, she's seen her eyes. She didn't recognize Sophia.
Yes, she doesn't know this body.
Correct. But
she knows those eyes.
Which means that Man in Yellow, Sophia, whoever, has infiltrated before, took Clara in the night. Like, how did they meet? Which is...
And who did she
form?
meet? Like,
exactly.
Yes.
Who did she meet? What form was he in? Because
right.
It's obviously nobody that's there now, or she would recognize them. So there is another form already out there, and there's another suitcase maybe somewhere with another...
but Man in Yellow, I feel like that the Man in Yellow might have approached as the Man in Yellow, which is why she would recognize his eyes. You know, Sophia didn't change her eyes into somebody else's eyes. It's not like they went from, I don't know what color they are, from green to brown. And then she was like, oh no, I remember Bob's eyes, you know?
Right.
It was like she saw the Man in Yellow's eyes. And I also feel like you wouldn't make a bargain like that with just some regular person. They're not going to be able to promise that they can get you out. You know, I think that she potentially was scared for her life from the Man in Yellow, and she probably pleaded, and the Man in Yellow had probably plans for her anyways.
Right.
You know, and so he wasn't planning on doing anything. Instead, he's like, I won't end you, and I can promise you a way out. Just need a little favor from you.
Right. Which comes back to the question, are the people who come into Fromville chosen by some entity, whatever? Are they specifically chosen for certain characteristics or, you know, traits, and that's why they come there? Like, how do the people end up there? How do they get chosen for that?
I do think they are kind of selected, but I don't think it's necessarily that everybody is as important, you know, as your Jades, Tabitha, Boyds, you know, those kind of characters. I think that sometimes they are brought in to stir up the pot, you know. So, for instance, Marielle, I don't think it was as much like, oh, we want this person because we want her. It was more of like, I think when she was brought in, it was this causes tension with the whole like Kenny love interest, and then it brings in, you know, this relationship and that like this previous relationship. And I feel like it was kind of brought in for that. Similar with maybe Acosta was brought in, you know, in order to, I mean, Acosta came in with Henry.
Right.
But I think that might have been on purpose of like having somebody that would lose it and have firearms and, you know, like, so and then I think some people might be brought in just because of kind of like time and place. They need another body. They also want to like increase people's fear. And so somebody might be brought in as like chum, and they know it, you know, knowing that they're not going to have a big impact other than helping to make other people scared.
Right.
Okay, so we also learned other things about Sophia. She did. We knew that she was screwing around with Henry with the blood,
Mm-hmm.
and now we saw that she transferred that to one person, who then was able to transfer that to another person.
Yes.
I don't think we're going to get answers about all this. Like, I don't think they're going to spell out how the rules of how everything works. And I don't think that some questions have to be answered. Like, I know that Lost was bad about answering more questions than it ever was going to answer. And it didn't know the answers to them when it asked them. Like, I am curious about, like, how many people can she put her blood into and affect? That's not the type of question I think we're going to get the answer to. But I am kind of curious about that, and like, how many degrees of separation can you get? Can she have, now that Fatima has that, could Fatima transfer it to somebody else? And could that person that's just stuff I'm mildly curious about. It won't affect my enjoyment if we don't get the answers, but it does kind of interest me about, like, how powerful the Man in Yellow is.
Well, for me, it's less about that, but about the consistency of the effect. So Sophia put her blood in Henry's drink, and now he's having visions of this alternate life. And, we had talked about it kind of being like Boyd's wife. It's like, oh, she was having visions and she was saying this isn't real. And she had to break, she had to break herself separate herself from the attachments.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they first went into Henry's drink, like, that's kind of where I thought, okay, well, that's where this is going.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we don't know what has happened to Fatima yet, but we haven't seen any visions, and it seemed to, like, advance whatever's already going on with her. And
that's
it didn't
what it felt
seem
like to me, yeah.
I mean, and again, it's been less than a day since the transfer happened, so maybe it does have that effect, but is Clara going to have visions? Like, is it going to impact her, or because it was given to her and she passed it on and she fulfilled her duty with it, is it not going to impact her? So just like the consistency of what it causes, or is it kind of one of those things where it can change what happens based on what the Man in Yellow wills it to do?
Yeah, I kind of see what you're saying. So to me, the impression I got was that when in this case, it was being used as an accelerant in order to, and who knows, sometimes one power that is actually clearly defined, when used in different ways, can have different effects. So for instance, if maybe the power is to be able to kind of like influence thoughts, and if part of what was keeping Fatima's transition a certain speed was the fact that she was fighting it inside, then maybe if this affects your thoughts, maybe it was able to, like, help take away some of that resistance.
Maybe.
And in doing so, that had the effect of accelerating the transition. So it could be one power that, manifests different ways based off, like, how you use it.
Yeah, like a drug. You can use one type of drug for different ailments.
Yes.
And you get different, for different effects of it.
Right.
Interesting. Okay.
Who knows whether or not we get an answer to that or not. But I did think that was interesting, kind of seeing how, and maybe that goes towards some of the questions that you were saying, that, like, we got a ton more questions.
Right.
To me, it kind of showed how, like, the control that she can have when she has her blood in people, and it did kind of, like, expand the scope of what she can do with that. And it's crazy. But to me, her taking these steps points towards how she feels about what's going to happen. I think.
Okay. Explain.
I think the fact that she is doing this. Okay. So she's, previously she was not invoking her supernatural abilities, right? She was meddling in other ways.
Yeah.
Maybe with Marielle, I don't know if she, like, helped with that vision or not. that might have just been like lingering music box monster stuff that's still going on. So I don't know if she was really involved with that. But, some of it was just kind of like whispers at the right time, just kind of like saying the right things to the right people in order to stir the pot. And now it feels like she's stepping it up.
Yeah. I think the stakes are higher, and maybe we're getting close to the end of the game and she's ready to, play her part.
To me, it makes it feel like having to take these measures, and especially her response to finding out that Tabitha and Jade were going in there alone. To me, it feels like the man in yellow is, I think at first it was just kind of like stepping things up, because it's like, I've played this game so many times. I know all the potential outcomes. And when they're getting close, if I need to, I ratchet things up. But to me, this feels like desperation.
Well, no. Well, maybe, yes. Sorry, I'm not going to tell you how to feel. But when they're in the bedroom, Sophia and Clara, she says, I'm playing all of these games, and I need you to nudge these two along. So, like, she's doing it purposefully before she knows that it's just Jade and Tabitha going into the tunnels. I think she's trying to get to an end. And so she's like, I need these ones to move along a little bit faster to get to this point, because I need everybody to be at certain points when I do my big reveal. I need people broken at certain stages, like certain stages of being broken, or this many people to be questioning the existence. Because they might all turn on each other, but you need them to all be right in the right state of mind to turn on each other. So I think it's fun for her. Like, I think she's doing these things on purpose. Up until the very end of the episode, when she found out that it was Tabitha and Jade going in, I don't think she had a care in the world about it. I think she was like, cool, let's keep playing. Like, let's move these things along. I don't think Elgin was part of the plan.
No.
I mean, she says, like, I wish you hadn't found that.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was ever part of the game. Maybe he is a player, but now she has to change her game with him.
Yeah.
And I'm interested that she did reveal that she can take the shape of anyone who has died in Fromville, which leads me back to the theory that I did throw out 2 episodes ago when we did this, when I filled in. And that is she going to take Jim's form?
And then I said, I wonder if she already did.
Right. Going back to that scene at the RV with Ethan and his dad. I agree. Questions. More questions.
No, I think she does need... I don't know if she has to have that person's clothes, or if it just like helps with the illusion. Obviously, you want clothes that fit. Right. And if it's somebody that you don't want to have to explain, like, why are you wearing random clothes you've never worn before?
Right.
Just like one more question.
I think there's a magical laundry situation, because
I did wonder about
when Julie's story walks and she sees the man in yellow eating people, he's covered in blood.
Yeah.
And now his clothes are just dirty, but they're not covered in blood. So I think there's a magical laundry situation. And I'm assuming that when Sophia died, she possibly got bloody, got dirty, something, and she's pristine. Her clothes are pristine now. Yeah. So the laundry situation is questionable. Yeah. But it's probably just magic.
Yeah. I can definitely see that. When Sophia was in the diner, I feel like there was something implied. Also, at least to me, was a revelation, because I did question what relationship she has with the other creatures. Do they work together? Do they have direct communication?
Are you talking about when she's in the diner working on the ladder bridge?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And to me, when she, this one is unrelated, but when she works the music box, to me, that potentially implies that she's been the one that has been doing the music the whole time. And it probably wasn't her touching the buttons that actually played the song. Mm-hmm. It was probably like after she pressed the second button that she like used her mind to play the song. But to me, it kind of implied that maybe she's been the one that's been messing with them by playing the songs at the most inappropriate times, like the most inappropriate songs at the most inappropriate times. And then the second thing that I feel like was implied, but not explicit, so we could be wrong. It seemed like the creatures outside were running a distraction play for her.
Okay.
You know, that like she wanted to cut the rope, and there were a lot of people in a very tight space. And what's the likelihood that she can do this without being spotted? She gets spotted, she gets instantly outed. And so she brings them in to run this distraction. All three of them, instead of spreading out, all three of them went over here while she's doing something over here.
Maybe. That is it's a good point.
I don't know whether or not that means that she's, you know, a boss and gets to boss them around, or if they just have communication, they agreed on the plan. I don't know.
I mean, I do, to your theory that she can communicate with them and she can control them a little bit. I feel like as soon as she found out that Tabitha and Jade were going into the tunnels, I feel like she's the one who woke up the monsters that were in. I don't think they heard anything.
Okay.
Because it seemed like they were awakened, not that they woke up. Yeah, I mean, maybe they're not really sleeping. Like when I wake up, you know, it's not that like they woke up and they knew what was happening. It was like they didn't question like who's down here, where's it coming from? Like, I mean, yes, they're monsters. Maybe they could smell, hear, whatever. But to me, it did feel like they woke up with a purpose.
Okay.
And they all knew because they woke up and smiled, and they all knew what they were going to do.
Yeah.
So I do think there was maybe some kind of communication from Sophia to them.
Yeah.
Also, only 3 of them got up.
Right.
So,
you
know.
So with a bunch of the things that we've kind of talked about, and with the word ritual, it does bring me back to something that I have asked several times before, and I kind of wonder whether or not certain things are done because that is part of the ritual, not because they like physically have to or physically can't do. Like it does kind of make me wonder whether or not the talismans, whether or not the creatures could easily ignore the talismans. But if the talismans act as part of this ritual, and like to a certain extent, if that gives people the false sense of safety, of feeling like they are secure, but eventually, you know, somebody gets careless, somebody gets kind of like cooped up and does something dumb, or the situation gets so dire that even knowing that going outside is safe, they make the choice. And in doing that, it's like they are going outside of the rules that they know they're supposed to follow. And because of that, to a certain extent, they're kind of like consenting to that attack. You know, that it's like, it's more of the ritual of having somebody put themselves in a situation where they know that they're in danger. And if kind of like that, if when I feel like a lot of these bargains that we've talked about with Sarah, Elgin, Clara, I feel like there's been some other ones where it feels like, you know, they could easily do something terrible to all these people, but instead they are trying to turn them and to get them to do bad things themselves.
Okay. Going back, sorry, that was a lot.
Sure.
So going back about your definition of like ritual and for you in this sense, what's the difference between like a ritual and a superstition?
I mean, I think that a superstition could be, if it is ritualistic, they can be one and the same. However, a superstition can also be, I think there's a Venn diagram overlap between the two.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like a superstition can be something that you believed to be true, but it doesn't always cause you to act the same way. Maybe it causes you to avoid certain things. However, some superstitions can cause you to do certain rituals, where it's like, oh, this happened, I have to throw salt over my shoulder.
Right, that's what, okay.
And it's like that. To me, that is both superstition and a ritual within that
I feel
superstition.
Like for some of the things that you just mentioned, it's hard because, like, the talisman are a ritual because they're a belief. I mean, those people feel like that is it. That's how they survive.
But the act of, like, they check it every time, like like Boyd rings the bell, they go inside and then they check it. And that's part of their, like, nightly ritual that tells them that they are safe.
Yes.
For now.
Yes. And so your point was to say that those rituals.
The flip side of it is that giving them the like sense of safety.
Yeah.
Is part of, like, the creature's ritual.
Got it. Okay.
Of, like that is the how of what they do. Not to say that they can't open a door, open a window, but that it is part of their ritual is to, like, give them this space, because in giving them this false sense of security, it's so much more delicious when they get to take it away because they make the mistake in the end. It's generally like somebody's drinking too much. Somebody is like, I can't be cooped up in here anymore. We have to do something. Let's take a difficult play and let's go outside with a stake and see if we can stab one. Like, at that point, the people of the town are making the choice to put themselves in this situation.
Okay.
And so, like, that is part of the ritual of it. Is like, we'll give them this, and we could cross it, but it's part of this, and it makes, when you get them, when a creature gets one of the people, it, like, makes it so much more enjoyable because they did get that sense of security.
Okay, interesting. Okay, I can see that. I guess I didn't really think of it as a ritual for them. I think it more of like game rules. It's like they're on base, so we can't go in there, even though maybe they can, maybe they can't.
Right.
But we see that they're not the only monsters there. The night monsters aren't the only monsters. So maybe the night monsters' rules are different because we know that the dolls couldn't get in.
Yes.
Talismans didn't matter.
Yeah.
But they could be killed by the totems. But the night creatures can't be killed by the totems. The man in yellow can daywalk. So they all have a different set of rules for the game that they are playing, the role that they're playing,
right?
The character in the story of the game.
And what I'm saying is that, kind of like a board game, these are rules that are agreed upon, but aren't enforced by physics.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted, you can cheat in a board game and you could not follow the rules. It's just not good sportsmanship, like, it's not good conduct. And I'm saying that, like, I think that all of these, each of these creatures may have different rules of, like, what they choose to play. And that's part of, like, the ritual that is important to this place.
Okay.
Of, like, following these rules. And I'm saying that it is possible that these rules might not be laws, that they literally can't, like, vampires, like, can't cross a threshold.
Right.
Whereas I'm saying that it's possible that these ones just don't cross the threshold.
Interesting. Okay.
And that works towards, I mean, I think it potentially, like, plays into the supernatural of this place, the magic of this place, that is important for whatever it is that is going on, is that ritual. Okay. It's the how is just as important as the what, if you will. I think the Matthews family got some interesting screen time in here this episode.
Yes.
It was interesting to see kind of Julie's thought process as to why she gave up on looking for bookmarks, because I had originally thought that, maybe it was too difficult. She couldn't figure it out. I didn't think it was what she said it was, that she blamed what was happening on like she was having seizures,
Mm-hmm.
and basically that it was fake. What she thought was happening wasn't happening, and it was just this place messing with her.
I was actually kind of surprised. I've been kind of surprised by Julie. I feel like she's had this weird, I don't want to call it a de-evolution,
Mhm.
but she was so passionate about figuring out the story walking thing and finding the books and learning about it and doing the bookmarks. And now she's very against it. She kind of thinks maybe it was like you said, the place messing with her, that maybe it's not real. But I feel like hearing about the man in yellow and then seeing that she's seen the man in yellow, like that to me is almost like proof that maybe they were real. Now, in the forward timeline that we're in, I think she's only story walked twice, right? She story walked.
No, she story walked 3 times. So she story walked and saved Boyd.
Yes,
that was the
first one.
She went to the trailer.
Have we seen her do that though? With
yeah. When the time when somebody shot Boyd shot, not to the trailer to when Jim died.
Oh, that's okay.
But no, the
yes,
trailer.
The RV.
Yes.
Yes.
The art. Yes.
Yes.
That time.
Yes.
And then she saw
the man in
yellow eating liver.
Right. So the fact that she was able to replicate the scenario. It's not like Henry's flashes and visions come and go at random times. He has no control over how to get in or out of them.
Yes.
For Julie, she is able to cause it to happen, which to me gives it some validity. And then, it's like, okay, the man in yellow is this terrible guy. Oh, also in her dreams or her, walking, she saw the man in yellow eating people, which kind of makes him a bad guy. So I feel like she actually has evidence to support her ability, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I don't know if her failure to drop the bookmark or the terrified vision she saw of the man in yellow eating people has just wrecked her. But she is so unsupportive now of Fromville's and what's happening.
Right.
And she's very quick to be like, who's he going to kill next if he came in the house? Is it me? Is it Ethan? You've got to stop believing these things. You've got to stop doing this. Okay, what's your solution? I don't know. I feel like she just, I don't know what's happening. It's like since she cut her hair and put on that wig, she's a different person.
Right.
There was a moment when I was like, maybe it's not really her.
Yeah.
And
okay.
Wig Julie is being controlled.
Okay. Yeah.
I reeled that back in. It's probably not accurate, but I don't know. I feel like she really went from wanting to find answers and to help and to save, everybody. And then, maybe it's the shock of, her finding her dad and then trying to story walk and being unsuccessful. That's just really broken her.
And I think that it doesn't help that everybody is against what she is doing. I know that her mom didn't really know what she was doing, but her mom hadn't been super supportive of her doing stuff on her own and wouldn't support this. And one of the few people that she really respects, and has continued to go to, Randall, he kind of shook sense into her of even your dad would say that what you're doing is wrong, and I think that he's been helping her this whole time. And so to have somebody who has been going along with her crazy idea that she's been doing, to have that person be that harsh, because when you get criticism from somebody on the outside, it's very easy to push that person's thoughts aside, because it's like, look, you've been against me this whole time.
Yeah. That's
just par for the course.
Right.
But when somebody who's been in your corner this whole time kind of does that, I think that was, and then I think there was the fear of seeing the man in yellow and getting worried that she was going to get killed by him, and, trying to do something the time before that and it not really doing anything, that she's just made her question the whole thing. So I do kind of get it. It'll be nice based off of the time we haven't seen her do yet. When she does meet the man in yellow, when he, kills Jim, the fact that he said, which time is this?
Right.
Makes it seem like there are many more. And so we will see her finally figuring this out and doing this many more times. It's not like we're just going to get the one more time. There will be something come from this. I don't think it's going to be until the next season.
I think I agree with that. I mean, it does show that, with this whole tunnel thing, their big thing is like, okay, we pull up this tree, we've opened like a window to everything, but it seems like not everybody's going to die because Julie is still going to be there. And so, yeah, I don't think, it just felt like such a big part of this season.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you know what? We'll just table that for now and open another can of worms.
Right. But I do think that is, to a certain extent, kind of par for the course, where they have brought up things that have seemed huge and then left them for sometimes over a full season of time before they loop back to them. To me, they have looped back to enough things that it has given me the goodwill to believe that they are trying to close up as much of this as possible.
Yeah.
It also feels a little bit less seat of the pants. I think one of the biggest ones that kind of got me to believe that we are going to get answers was when Julie first story walked, and that answered such a huge question in such a good way that made it seem like they had planned it the whole time.
Yes. When she threw the rope down to Boyd.
Yes. Because to me, that didn't, Lost sometimes answered some of his questions, not often. But when it did, it didn't feel like that was the answer the whole time. It felt like that was the answer they came up with. It didn't feel like there was anything set up that really pointed towards that answer.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this is the answer.
Yeah.
And so it did feel like they were going by the seat of their pants. Versus the Julie thing really felt like that was well set up. And so it gives me hope.
Yeah, that's fair.
That we'll get a lot of the rest of it.
So they brought up the bottle tree now.
Yes.
When White's back.
Yes.
To fight for the bottle tree. To tell Victor, I've told you that they can't destroy it. Why? Do you got any theories about the bottle tree?
Somebody in the comments did mention that the Victor said that the trees are moving, and that that's all they said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and so the tree being pulled up, it wouldn't be over the right spot.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the boy in white did legitimately seem concerned for the tree, not like, oh, you're gonna pull up the wrong spot and it's gonna be a waste of time, and they're still gonna be trapped. It didn't come off to me like that. And I don't know, because the Boyd thing got in my head, of have we just been assuming that the boy in white is good because he is a boy and he is, in white, which is a color associated with good. And, but secretly he's been screwing them with them the whole time. I do think he's good. I do think that line was just put there to screw with us. I think potentially the bottle tree is important.
Right.
And it should be kept there.
Yeah. I saw an interesting theory. I'm not subscribing to it just yet, but I don't know if it was in the comments or somewhere else, but pulling the tree up by its roots, there's a tree with its roots pulled up is how everyone enters Fromville.
Mm.
So are they going to reset by pulling the tree up with its roots attached? It falls over, it blocks a road, and now we've reset the world.
Interesting.
Yeah. I like it, but I don't remember seeing bottles on the tree in the street.
Yeah. Also, I don't see that one as likely because, I don't know how that would be the tree all the way in the past, unless they're saying that every generation has done this. And I don't think that every generation has gotten this far. So I don't think that all the other ones have been pulling up plus not all of them would necessarily have the equipment for it.
Maybe that's true. And in the bottles on the tree, there's like old dates, right?
No, not dates. Remember, these are the
Music notes.
music notes.
Okay.
And it was represented by numbers. And it clearly wasn't dates because like some of them started with like a 6 or a 9 or something like that, which, I mean, unless it's far in the future.
Right.
And then some of them were backwards numbers, which is how they were able to represent the like musical scale was through more characters than what numbers would allow.
Right. I think the boy in white's good. I do think he's good. I think he has helped them out enough times.
In clutch situations,
yeah. And as far as the bottle tree goes, when you go on the bottle tree, you end up in different places, right?
Yeah.
Pulling up the bottle tree, I mean, there's something magical about the tree that I don't know that. I mean, the others know that they know that that's what Tabitha went through. They know that that's what the guy that got stuck in the pool went through. So they know that this tree.
That's how Boyd didn't go through a bottle tree, but he did go through a faraway tree.
I meant Tabitha.
Yeah.
The bottle tree.
Yeah.
And the guy that went in the pool.
Yeah.
Went in the
No,
bottle
you
tree.
did say Tabitha. I was just adding another one that went through a faraway tree.
A faraway tree.
Yes.
So they know that this tree is magical and special in some capacity. So I think that and I know that it's like the hopes and dreams of the children are supposed to be in the roots.
Yeah.
But I feel like they're looking at it very literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's literally above the chamber.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we pull it out by its roots, literally, we'll find the chamber. And they're not really remembering that these trees can lead to different places. And I don't know. I just feel like pulling it up is a bad idea.
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna do it.
Okay.
I think somehow they're gonna stop it. I don't know how. Maybe the boy in white appears to everybody else.
Yeah.
Unsure. But I don't think they're gonna pull it up. I feel like it's such an integral part of Fromville and the story that it will stay. But maybe not.
I have had a few minor gripes.
Okay.
I don't want to make this clear. I very much enjoy the show. I'm not trying to be overly whiny, complaining about it. I do, for the most part, very much enjoy the show. But there are a few things that sometimes get on my nerves.
Okay.
And one of them is how every time that they are having an important conversation, it gets interrupted. Literally, this episode, it happened 3 times.
Yes.
And I feel like that's one of the ways that information isn't able to be shared completely, because it's like right before they can finish saying everything that they need to say, somebody comes in and it's like, let me just grab your attention.
Right. I just need a second of your time. Yeah.
You know? And like I said, it literally happened 3 times this episode. How can this constantly happen?
Because they don't have group meetings or town halls, you know?
Right.
You know, town hall where it's everybody like, raise your hand if you have something to say.
Right. And the last one.
Okay.
Jade, Tabitha, they're in the cave.
Mm-hmm.
Their lives are at stake.
I know where this is going. Okay.
You know? They're going to make a lot of sound. They're going to take a lot of time. This isn't easy work, right? Right?
Yes.
And what do they pin their life on?
Duct tape, obviously.
But not just duct tape.
And it's hard.
The tiniest amount of duct tape humanly possible, as if they are worried more about running out of duct tape. Like, oh, heaven forbid we run out of this roll of duct tape here. They seem more worried about that than, like, how dusty are these cave walls? How well does one strip? They put like 3 strips of duct tape on, right? How you put tape on something that's like super dirty, dusty, it instantly becomes unusable, you know? And so then you have to you have to use that first one just to clean the surface, and then the second one to like stick it up. I would basically use like that whole roll. I would.
They don't have time. They don't have time to use the whole roll.
Once they're in there with the
they don't know that it's going to work. I mean, Jade knows it's going to work.
Yeah.
But He doesn't
Interesting.
actually know it's going to work.
Okay, so maybe not the whole roll, but like 10 more pieces. I don't know what the right amount of duct tape is, but it wasn't that.
But it's not 3 pieces.
It's not 3 pieces.
And 1 piece to hold the talisman.
Yeah, 1 piece. Yes, yes. One might argue that's like the most pivotal one because yes.
Yes, I did think that was a risky move.
Yeah.
But, you know, they also chose a see-through tarp. So, you know, maybe you could have brought a blanket, unless they want to see the monsters.
Yeah.
Just felt like a shower curtain. Like they just bought the shower liner from somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think I would want that because I would want
to know.
Yes, like to me, it would be better to just
why no? What's that going to do for you?
So because the fear of the unknown, like what your imagination can come up with, is so much worse than the reality. Like rather than dreading the whole time, what if they get here? What if they get here? What if it's something worse? What if it's something different? You know, what if it's not the normal night creatures? What if it's a giant slug thing?
What does that do? Does that change their plan?
Well, they're not all affected by the talismans.
Exactly.
If I saw a giant slug, then it's like,
what are you gonna do? The one way in, one way out. The tree's
I'd stop digging. I'd just get ready to run. I would be different. I just want to know. You know, it's like that's it. Because then at least it's nice when you look at it and there's nothing there. It's just a little. And yes, the blood pressure does immediately go up the moment you see the monsters, but at least now you know.
I guess. I mean, I see your point. I'm just saying maybe they should just, not stop. Like, get in there, get out. It's not like Kenny where he, speared the guy and then he waited to see what was happened. Like, just don't stop doing your job. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.